Hey guys, it's Stanley27 here, bringing you some Battlefield 3 today, and I want to talk about gun balancing and how DICE has actually tackled it and whether they've done a good job in Battlefield 3. So I thought I could bring you a gameplay of nothing more than a game with the M16A3, which is quite commonly described as the best gun in Battlefield, seeing as it's used in competitive play, and anytime I want to go try hard I use it. So I would agree it's a very good gun, but I wouldn't say it's the best gun in the game. Or it's probably the best gun in the game all round, but it's not amazing at one specific thing. It's a good gun at close range, it's a good gun at long range, but it will be beaten at any of those distances. If at close range you're going to be beaten by an MP7 or an MTAR, at long range you're going to be beaten by a sniper rifle. So it's not an incredible gun at the specific range or type of encounter, but it's just a good gun all round. So I thought I'd bring you a game with that, seeing as it kind of fitted with it, and I kind of get on a nice little streak here at the beginning. I think I go 9-0, get a MCOM arm and get the destroy, so it's quite a good game. We don't end up winning, however, I will post loses if they're a decent game and the team's kind of doing well, we're battling hard, so sadly we lose, but we do contest the game well, but sadly we do get a little bit overrun and actually can't arm one of the MCOMs before the other team just camps around, or not camps, they were set up relatively well. I'm not going to knock them for supposedly camping, but they were doing rather well. But back onto the topic of the video, I would say that DICE have actually handled gun balancing in Battlefield 3 rather well. There doesn't seem to be any overpowered guns that are ridiculously overpowered. Obviously there's a few complaints about the M16A3, but as we know that is getting a nerf in one of the next updates, so that will probably be knocked down, maybe still be the best gun in the game, but I would suggest that they probably did something with the reload time, seeing as I didn't even see that guy there just hiding in the shadows, and something we do with the reload time, because I don't think they could take the damage off and like decrease the fall off damage at range, because that way it would almost lose its sensibility with the assault rifles in the game, as they all follow the same damage pattern. But the reload time is something that is rather good. It's a very quick reload time for a gun of its stature, so if they increase that a little bit, it would obviously knock down the fact that the gun would be so powerful in all different types of combat and everything, all that stuff in the game. But so obviously that's getting a nerf in the next patch, but I think DICE have treated the fact that some guns were OP rather well with the FAMAS that was brought out in the Back to Karkand expansion pack. That had, I think, 1,000 rounds per minute and 31 bullets in the chamber and very, very little recoil and a relatively decent reload time, so that gun was an absolute beast in the right hands. However, in one of the updates, they did nerf it, knocked it down to 26 bullets in a chamber, had the recoil up a little bit, and obviously knocked up the reload time quite considerably, so it's, I think, about a 3-second reload for a gun that has such a high rate of fire. Can't actually use that well in engagement, seeing as it burns through a clip relatively, or very quickly, and the reload time kind of destroys the fact that you actually have such a high rate of fire. So I do think DICE went a bit overboard on the nerf, but they may bump it back up in a few future patches. There's been some speculation about that. A few Battlefield things have been tweeted but then removed, so that hasn't actually been confirmed yet, but so we're not entirely sure whether that's going to be bumped back up or just stayed as it is. So that's something to look forward to in the future. In this video I didn't actually want to flood you with facts and figures about all these guns that we're going to be talking about, or just the guns in general in the game. I wanted to make it turn more into a discussion video, so have you discussing in the comment section below whether you think guns are OP. What guns do you use on a regular basis when you want to try hard? I know the M16 and the AEK are popular favourites at the moment, obviously when you're playing Assault, but what do you use when you're playing Recons, if spawn beacons are allowed, if you're playing competitively, or if you just want to put your try hard pants on, what guns do you use? I would like to know in the comment section below. And also, what guns, if any, do you think are OP in Battlefield, and do you, or would you agree with me that DICE has actually done a good job on keeping on top of the OPness, I don't even know if that's a word, on top of the guns and balancing them to make sure that every gun plays fair, but obviously has its advantages, disadvantages, but doesn't have such a great advantage that it's almost obsolete to use any other gun than that in the class. So I think some classes probably could use a tweak. Obviously the Assault, there does seem to be two clear winners, which are the M16 and the AEK. I think some of the other guns could maybe have a bit of a bump up. Maybe the AEK and the M16 maybe need a bit of a nerf. Obviously the M16 is getting one. I'm not sure about the AEK because obviously that is, or does have, the very, very long reload time that it does already have. It doesn't need anything extended there. But there's some other guns like the F2000 that only I've seen that being used a lot, but I'm assuming that's only because a lot of the assignments that you need to unlock new camos or for the close quarters actually involve getting kills with the F2000, so that could be why that's being used. I think that if you want a gun with a high rate of fire, I would use the AEK. I don't think the F2000 is a go-to gun if you want a gun with a high rate of fire. And I think like the SCAR-L, obviously they're good for long-range engagements, but they're all in all, if you're going to be using a long engagement map, you're going to come in up close with some short engagements, which is why choosing the M16 probably would fare you better in the long run, seeing as whether you're going to get long range engagements, you probably will win your long range engagements, but if you get up close with someone with only got 650 rounds per minute, I think it is for the SCAR-L, you're not going to really stand a chance if they've got an AEK, even if they're running an M16A3. That's 800 rounds per minute against 600. They're going to fire off a lot more bullets than you in that short space of time, meaning that you most likely, unless you get lucky, won't actually win that engagement. So, all in all, I would say that Battlefield, in my opinion, or DICE, the developers, have done a really good job with the gun balancing in the game. So, as I said earlier, I want to see your opinions in the comment section below. What guns do you use? What guns do you think are OP, if there are any? What guns do you think are underpowered and can use a bit of a buff? So put those all in the comments section below. I want some feedback. I want to turn this into a more of a discussion video rather than a stats and figures. So if you enjoyed, guys, please leave a rating and a comment. And if this does go up on Pixel Enemy, come and check out my channel. It will be in the link below. So sadly, as I said at the beginning, we did lose, but it was a well contested game. So that's why I put it up. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.